Hello, this video is going to talk with faculty and staff in regards to how to use a program called Machforms. Machforms is a program that can be used to create surveys or forms to collect data from a various group of parties for different reasons. What's good about Machforms is it does allow non-Gordon students to submit to it. When some of the programs that we have, the surveys require the student to log in with their Gordon email to be able to submit. This one does not, so it can go out to non-Gordon students for, again, a variety of reasons. There's a couple of other reasons why I really like this product. One is that it includes you can choose to include a customized message that is sent to the person who has completed the form after it is submitted. So it might be that you want them to get, as soon as they submit, essential set of information. So if you're going to have maybe a meeting, you're going to have a live meeting, a synchronous meeting, and you want to give them the links. You want them to sign up for the meeting, and then immediately upon signing up, you want them to get sent the link to the meeting. You can include that in what I call a pop-back email, to where basically as soon as they submit the form, they'll get a pop-back email that'll get straight to the email that was sent to them, or that they included in their form, and it will go ahead and email them. So that is something that might be helpful with that. The next one is setting up for you as the owner of the form to receive copies of each survey when submitted. So you can always, of course, log into Machforms, download the data, and see, at one time who's there and who's submitted. But it might be that you just want a copy of every time someone submits it to kind of come to your email, so that you can kind of track and see what people are saying and what people are doing with their submissions. And so you can set that up as well. This is a great tool to use for outreach programs, if you're doing research and collecting data, or admissions type initiatives. Again, all of those would involve potentially non-Gordon students. So this is the link down below to Machforms. You do want to put in a help star ticket if you're going to be someone creating Machforms, because they do have to create your account. But upon creating your account, you'll go to this link and log in to start creating your Machform. Okay, so just for reference, this is the login page of Machforms, but again, you will have IT create you an address and a password to log in with. All right, so now we're going to start the process of creating our own Machform. Notice here are some Machforms that I've created or have access to. What's really cool is over on the side, it will show you that 2 people have submitted to this particular Machform today. So that's some great information there. Before we get in too deep in regards to how you actually make your own Machform, let's look at a completed one so you can kind of get an idea of what it's like. So I can click on this and I can choose to view what my Machform is going to look like. And this is the one that I've recently created. And this one is for our Pair Per Teacher interest form. And the idea is that this gets sent out to different listservs, different groups of people, not Gordon students already. And if they are interested in participating in this, they will fill out this information, and then they will submit it, and it will go into my database where I'm able to download the data and see who submitted and what they've said in each of these areas. But I also have it set to where they get a pop-back email saying that, you've submitted and here's the information. So I'm going to fill this out really quickly myself so you can see what the pop-back email looks like. So upon completing the form, this is the end page once they submit it. There's some information here where I can put in the link to the meeting and different information. But also an email came through to me from Webmaster at Gordon State, and I was able to customize what I want the title of that to be. And it includes other information, including the different links that they might need to access and join the meeting. Additionally, remember how I said that you can set it up to where you, as the creator of the form, can get emails coming back to you every time someone submits. So here's a copy of this one. I'm the creator of the form. So every time somebody submits, I get this email, and notice it gives me a number here. So this is the 296th person who has submitted this. So this kind of gives me a running total of how many people have signed up without me having to log in and pull the data. And then I'm here able to see all of the questions that they answered and just kind of get an overview of that information. Now, when I pull the data and pull the Excel sheet, which I'll show you later on, you can, of course, have all that data there, but this is a great way to get it just kind of in the running as you go along. And my favorite part is knowing the number there to know how many people have submitted each time someone comes through. All right, so let's get started making our own form. So we're going to choose Create Form. And then basically here on the side, we're going to drag and drop and customize the pieces of information that we want included on our form. So in this case, I want their first and last name. I might also want their phone number. I might also want their email. So I can drag all of this information in. You might also then want to add in customized questions. So maybe a checkbox question here. And then to edit the information on the specific field that you've pulled in, you just click on it. And then you're able to come in and change the name of the field itself. You're able to change the options, add more options, and then you can even give additional guidelines for users. So in this case, I've added in some information. In the field label, I ask my question. In the choices, I've added in, my choices that I would like. And then down here at the bottom for guidelines for user, I added in just a little note here. So these might be things that to help the student answer the question that you could add. And then you can choose to make it required if you want them, force them to answer that question before submitting it, if you would like for that to be in place. Now, if I want to maybe edit another field, so let's say on the email, I want to add in another, I want to customize this a little bit more. I can add in just some custom text here because I want to make sure that they're inputting an email that they're going to use and check often. So I can include that there. And then I can also come and choose for them to require that so that they do have to answer that particular question. And notice there's a little star beside it when you are requiring that particular question. So keep in mind the differences between the checkboxes. The checkbox is going to let them pick more than one answer, while the drop down or the multiple choice is going to just allow them to pick one answer. So I'll do one of these so you can see the difference. So same thing here. I click on it, and then I can come and change the field label, which is the title, and then my options. So I've added in my title and my answer choices, and I've allowed each item to be selected one time so that they can only pick one, and I made it required. Now let's say in the case that I want to add in some text here. I want them to read something and maybe check that they understand. So in that case, I'm going to add in a paragraph text box. I'm just going to drag it down here at the bottom, and then I can... So in this case, I've created a statement here, and I want them to type "I understand" at the bottom of it, as if like in a text box situation. So I can do that. I can make it required if I want to. And so this is one way to address that particular type of question. Another way is to do it via a checkbox, but we'll get a little bit creative with our checkbox. So we're going to come here, and we're going to add in our question. So we're going to double click on this, and we're going to add in our question. So for the title of the question, I included the statement. And then I'm going to come here, and I'm going to get rid of all the other checkboxes, and I'm just going to leave one. And then you might put "I understand." And then make that a required field. And so there they would just read the statement and then click "I understand" from there. So at the top of the page, you can give it a title as well as just an overall description. Also in this area is the submission confirmation information. So after the person submits their form, what do they see afterwards? Now it's easy enough to choose it to redirect to a website. So maybe after they submit, it automatically takes them to this website about online learning here at Gordon. So I could do that if I wanted to. or I could customize some text here. So say that we've added in some text here, but we want to put a link in here. So maybe we're going to add in a question that says, sign up to join a live meeting session to learn more about the programs. And you want to put that meeting link in here, Zoom, Teams, Ultra, whatever. So you can do that here. So to create that link here in your email to make it a Teams meeting, you would come to the home area, do new Teams meeting, and then you would just give it a title. So meeting about, actually I'm going to send this only to myself at the moment, and then I'm going to give it a title. So meeting about online programs, and then I'm going to put it the day and the time of the actual meeting. So we're going to say it's going to be on the 25th from 9 to 9:30. And so I'm going to send that to only myself, so it'll put it on my calendar. And then what you would do is come here and you would click on beside the link, you would copy that hyperlink, and then we would go and put that into our mock form information here. So it's going to look like a large link, but that is going to be how it comes in through this particular screen, and they can just copy and paste that in. So moving forward, what we can also do is we can extend this to where we see more options, and a couple of other things you might want to check. You can limit the number of submissions that they submit if you want to do that. You can also turn on to allow them to review the page before submitting, which I like to do, so that it shows them all of their responses and lets them make sure that they have included everything. And you can even turn on the scheduling of when this form is going to be open. So maybe I want it to start today, and then maybe I want it to become unavailable for people to submit to maybe the day before the meeting, because I don't want people, submitting at the last minute. So you can even put that on there to where it'll restrict when they're able to submit to the form. All right, so let's add one more question here, and we're going to add it as a checkbox. And we're going to add the question, when would you like to join a live meeting to learn more about the programs? And then I'll put in some dates here. And this will be good because it will allow you to pull the data on what day they would like to join a live meeting, which will help you in if you're going to try to send them some information. You'll have what day they chose here. All right, so now I'm going to save my form because I've added in all of my pieces that I wanted. And now we're going to go ahead and edit our themes. So this is an area where you can build your own theme. You can come and choose a logo and upload a logo, or to use a logo that's already been created there, or again you can upload a logo. You can do different backgrounds for it, and you can just kind of customize your form, keeping in mind that a couple have already been created that kind of follow a little bit of what Gordon's logo and Gordon's colors look like, so you might just choose to use one of those instead of creating your own. However, if you wanted to create your own, you could do that here and then save the theme, give it a name, and you would be able to select that from here on out as you make your forms. But at this point, I'm going to go back to Manage Forms, and notice that if I come here and choose Theme, I'm able to pick themes that have already been created, and I can just go from there. So I can choose one, save the changes, and then view it to see what it looks like. So in this case, if the form is inactive, those dates, if you have put in dates and the dates have passed, this is what the person filling it out will see. And again, to preview your theme as well as your form, if you are in your Manage Forms area and just click on View beside the name of it, you'll be able to see what it looks like. So this is the one that we've created thus far. So now that we have our form up and running, let's add in some notifications. So under Manage Forms, we're going to choose Notifications under our particular one that we're looking at. And let's check to send notifications to my inbox. And if you choose this information, it'll tell you what it's going to do. So this is where you set it up to where once somebody submits it, it emails you providing that form to you so that you can kind of track it. So in this case, I'm going to put in my email, so that as soon as somebody submits, it will show them, it'll send it to my email, and it will explain, it'll give me their form that they've completed. And here you can add in if you want other people to receive those, maybe you and the partner that you're working with on this project, you want multiple people to receive it, you can. You can even choose to have the submission attached as a PDF to that particular email. So we'll test this out in a minute, but that's one option. The next one is to send a confirmation email to user, which I definitely encourage you to do. So we'll choose that. And in order for you to be able to use this feature in your form, you will have had to have collected their email, of course. So you'll check this, and then basically what it's saying is after they have submitted their form, they will get a pop-back email with whatever you decide to input into it, and it's going to send it to whatever they place in this email box. And then so from here we can customize this a little bit. Do I want the from name to come from Machforms? Probably not, because if they see the word Machforms, they're going to think, what even is this? So I might want to include my name or a custom name for the email to come from. So from here, I set the custom to be the name of the form itself. So when they get that pop-back email, the name of the email, the subject of the email is going to be basically the name of the form, so they can probably connect them. I can also include a custom email, so maybe I want it to come from my email, or maybe I want it to come from a general email area. So if we have online learning at Gordon State, to where I want all the people that reply back to this message to go to this particular group. And so keep this in mind when you do this reply to email, because this is the email that it's going to come from. So if the student receives that email, presses reply, you want to make sure that the email it's replying to is something that's going to be checked. Additionally, you can change the from email, so the email that it's going to say that it is from, and I would encourage you making these the same so that the email again looks legit. It's got a legitimate title, it's got a legitimate reply to email, and it's got a legitimate to email. So now we're going to put the email subject, and so I'll just give it the name of the form again. And then here you can put in the content of what you want the email to say. All right, so now that we've finished with all of our pieces, we are ready to get the link to send out our form. So the process for doing that is going to be to go to your Manage Forms area, hover over or click on the name of your particular form, and then you're going to go to Code. And then you're going to see different types of code that you can use to get the link. So just to get the link itself, I would go to Simple Link. And then it's going to, you're going to have to copy all of this, but you can take this and just throw it in a Word document, because all you're really wanting is the part that starts HTTP all the way to the end here. So what is in those parentheses? So here I've pasted the link just in a Word document, and I'm just going to go and grab only the link part, the part that is in gray here, between the parentheses. And so when you go from there, now this is the link that you send out. So you can embed this in D2L, in emails, in whatever you want, to put it on the website, whatever you want. This is just a regular old link that they'll click on and then be able to fill out that information. Okay, so I submitted the form just as a person, and this is the pop-back email that I get. So it comes to my email. It gives me the reply back email, so that when I reply to, it's going to go back to whatever I designated. So you want to make sure that that's a good email. It has the subject area that I decided on, and then it has the text that I decided on. Also, as the owner of it, I receive this information. And notice here that it says the number, so 2 people have submitted it. And it gives me this information in the text format in the body of my email, but then it also attaches it to a PDF for me. All right, so now let's say that I want to go in and actually pull this data. It's been a couple of weeks. I'm ready to pull this data to see how many people have responded to this. So from here, I'm going to go to the link. So interested in Gordon State online courses. I'm going to go to entries. Here I'm able to see when they submitted or when they created and or really created and submitted their form, their submission, their name, their phone number, all this information. So you can imagine only 2 people have submitted it right now, but if there were a lot, you would see multiple pages here. So one thing that you might want to do is, say in the case of the form that I was looking at, or on my form, I have them submitting certain days that they are interested in the program or joining a session. So I can filter entries and I can filter by certain things. So maybe I want to look at the people who marked November 25th as an interest date for joining a session. So I'll apply that filter and I'll see that this one person selected that. Or it might be that I want to have a filter and I want to look at people who said that they live less than 15 minutes away from Barnesville. So I'm able to filter that. So again, you might want to make sub-list from some of the ways that they've answered those forms. So what I would do is I might filter it by a certain interest date. And then you can come here and click, and then you can export that data to a Excel file. And that information will come over that you can then subsequently mail merge to email them all that information as needed. So now it is in a form here that I can save to my computer and have for reference, have to filter, or have to email out. And so in this case, I could have just not filtered the entries here and then just downloaded all the data at one time and then filtered it once it got to Excel. But to me, it's a little bit easier here to filter and then only pull the data for specific information that you want or need. So that concludes the video of how to use a mock form. Make sure to watch next the video on creating a mail merge, which kind of picks up where we left off, so that it will review how to take the Excel data and email students or email people that are on that list from there.